Have you ever played a series of notes and wondered what on earth is that chord? Or maybe you are already familiar with how to play chords and chord inversions, but you're not really clear on how to identify which chord inversion you are in. In this lesson, I am going to tell you exactly how to figure out what inversion you're in and how to identify which chord you are playing based on a few little tips and tricks I learned. Now, honestly, I've been playing piano for about 10 years. Embarrassing to admit this, before I actually figured out how to really easily identify inversions. So I'm really excited to share these little tricks with you. Let's take a look at your basic average C major chord. So when you're playing a chord in root position, it looks like a stack of thirds. And if you were to notate it on the staff, it would look kind of like a snowman. So 3 notes stacked on top of each other. So when you're in this shape, this is called a root position chord. And that's because the bottom note that you're playing is the root note. And the root note is the note that reflects what the chord is called. So if we're in this shape and C is the bottom note, our root note, we are playing a C chord. Same thing for G. Build a chord on G. If it's in this shape, it's a G chord in root position. F chord in root position, A minor chord in root position, D minor chord in root position. So just kind of memorize that. That shape means root position. Okay, so that's the easy part. Say you're looking at inversions now. So you're gonna hear a chord, you're gonna see a chord, and it looks like that. We are no longer a stack of thirds. We have 3 notes, but we don't know exactly what chord they make or which one of these notes is the root note and which inversion we are in. So this is really easy to figure out. Take a look at your chords, and the first thing you need to know is because we're not in root position here, that this bottom note is not the root note, so you can forget about it for a second. You want to look at the shape and pick the note that has the most space below it, and that is your root note. So take a look here. We know it's not this note. Here we have a distance of a third, and here we have a distance of a fourth. So this note has the most room underneath it. You could almost think of it as it has the most space for roots to grow. That is your root note. So what we know now is that we've got a root note. It's C. We are playing a C chord, but which inversion are we in? Well, you can think from top down. This is the first spot. This is the second spot. So we are in second inversion, C chord. So that is how you can really quickly identify the root note and which inversion you're in. So let's take a look at another one. So we're definitely not in root position. It's definitely not a nice little stack of thirds here. We've got an F sharp, an A, and a D. So how do we figure out the root note? We know it's not the bottom because we're not in root position. We need to find the note that has the greatest space below it. This is the third, this is the fourth. This note has the most room beneath it. Our root note is D. Which position is it in? It's in the first, the top, number 1. So we are in a first inversion D chord. So that's how you can really quickly figure out which inversion you're playing and which note is your root note. So try it at home, pick any note on the keyboard. So I'm gonna pick F. Okay, so I'm gonna build a chord around F. So I'm gonna decide that I wanna build a first inversion F chord. So that means that F is gonna be in my top spot. So the other notes of the F chord need to be below that F. So the root note's gonna have the most space. I'm gonna throw a fourth and then a third. You can also think about the notes of the F chord. You've got an F, an A, and a C. So if F is here, find the C and the A. So now you've built a first inversion F chord. You could pick another note. This time, practice making this a second inversion chord, meaning you're going to have a note above and a note below. You want to have the distance, the greater distance below the root note. So my notes are going to be D, F sharp, and A. So A goes here and F sharp goes there. You got your second inversion D chord. So hope you found this tip helpful. Comment below, let me know what you think. Did this make this concept easier for you, or were you already a boss at this? Let me know. I'd love to hear from you, and have a great day.